Joined now by Willie Desjardins of the Medicine Hat Tigers. Coach, first of all, let's jump into it. The boys are back in town in Medicine Hat. The last few days you've gotten a chance to put them through the paces here with training camp. What have your thoughts been on what your group has shown so far, and how excited are you to have everybody back in the fold here?
Well, we're excited. I think that we're certainly excited with our young players. I think we've got a real good step for our future. I think last year was a really difficult year, and I think we made that choice as we're going through that probably wasn't going to be our year, and we wanted to give ourselves a chance to maybe win something down the road. So, it was good to get out of last year. I think this year we have, some younger guys that are, have had a summer to grow and get better. And, we're excited about getting in the year. I think that, every year everybody goes out and they come back and they're all excited. So it'll be great to get some exhibition games.
Tell you what, I mean, last year with the fact that there were two drafts during the season, basically, it was an interesting, an interesting wrinkle, I guess, in terms of your group's organizational development. And you have a trio of first-round picks to look at now in Mersch and Bersani and, of course, Gavin McKenna. I mean, when you look at the youth of your group, you certainly it's more than those three guys. But I mean, those are three guys that up front, at least for your group, you've got to be fairly excited about.
Yeah, there is. Lidstrom's in that group. He's a really good player. McCann's in that group. He's another guy that's going to be a great player too for us. So you got Pranich also on the back end. So we have the makings of a pretty good group down here to get us started too. So we're all excited about it. And, it's one thing to have that talent, but you got to develop it. And we know we have a lot of developing ahead of us. And, we're looking forward to that opportunity.
I mean, when you look at it, Coach, I mean, you've coached all over the place at the professional level and the major junior level, and in academies as well. When you're dealing with a young group like that, I mean, maybe reflect, if you would, on just the opportunity it gives yourself and your staff to teach and to develop and to kind of watch these guys grow from 15, 16, 17-year-old prospects into 19, 20-year-old young men.
Yeah, I think it does, but I think winning also helps you develop. I think winning is a special thing, and I think that that's something that just doesn't happen by itself. You have to win to really appreciate it. So, I think we can do the skill stuff, we can do all the off-ice stuff, but I think to really develop, you got to win games too. So I think that's something that we have to try to put in the future here. We got to win a little bit more to give our guys the belief that we can win.
Just spoke to him, but I want to ask you about Drew Krebs. So it's obviously a Washington draft, comes in this year as, one of your elder statesmen on the blue line. Looking at him and having watched him develop through his time in Medicine Hat, what does he bring to the table that's going to help your group in the short term as you continue to build for the long term?
I think there's lots you can say about Drew Krebs. One, he's a very good person, comes from a great family. He's a really good person. But whenever people talk about him around here, they talk about how professional he is. He carries himself like a professional. He eats the way he needs to. He trains the way he needs to. He prepares. So he does all the stuff that professionals do. And that it certainly is a great role model for our younger guys. He skates really well. He has that ability whenever to get himself out of trouble by using his speed. And he also defends because of it too. Like his skating just makes him, one of the best.
You got a chance to see Thomas Mersch, the 8th overall selection, in a few games last year. Of course, given the draft was held in December. How's he come back to camp and looking ahead of potentially a 16-year-old season with your group?
He's come back great. Like, he's a good player, really smart. I think he's a real good leader. And I think he's come back with something to prove too, which is exciting. Like, I think he's a 16-year-old. It's always hard for 16-year-olds in our league, but you look at some of the accomplishments by other 16-year-olds around the league last year. It's certainly, if I was him, I would certainly go, hey, if they did it, there's no reason I can't have a great year as well. So I think he's really optimistic about it, and certainly has this skill set.
Something to prove is definitely an interesting kind of tagline that I think could apply to a lot of players on your team. You touched on it, the struggles of last year. I mean, do you find that, the returning guys on your group, maybe the older guys on your group, have also come back with that mentality of, hey, we're for real here, and we want to show the rest of the division, the rest of the conference, the rest of the league, that we have a lot of talent in this group and are willing to battle for each other?
I would hope they would. Like, I do think we have lots to prove, so I would hope that's what they came in, and motivate them throughout the summer and are going to push them this year. We know we have to make some changes. We have to be better with our structure. We have to all be more accountable. So there's things that we have to do, but I think the older players, I would expect would come in with a little bit to prove.
Lastly, Bogi Dance is in camp with you, yeah?
Pardon me?
Is Bogi Dance in camp with you? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I don't want to ask you a question about him and then have you say, oh, he's not here. But I do want to ask you about Bogi Dance because he was a guy that I think turned a lot of heads for Latvia at the World Juniors in the summer. And as a guy who's now a second-year import player with your program, what are some of the expectations you have of him, and what are some of the strengths for maybe those who are less familiar with his game that he's going to bring to your team?
Yeah, I thought, he was really excited at the World Juniors when Latvia won. I think his passion is a really good motivator. I think he's come in with a really good attitude here. Big defenseman, can really shoot a puck, and is in great shape. So I think he's a really good package. I think he has to just become more consistent. I know there's parts of his game that he knows he has to work on, but I would expect him to be a good leader for us this year and prove that he can play the game at a pro level over here.